What's up guys, GenesisNexus here. Welcome back to another Wuthering Waves video. And in today's video, I'm just going to keep it real and talk about the new endgame mode, Endstate Matrix. As you guys know, the previous one was the pilot, and now this is kind of like the new and improved. So you will notice that I'll have my gameplay running in the background as we talk. I had some high expectations for this mode, but I came out of it with some criticisms and some feedback that I hope will change not only this mode, but the game for the better for everybody. So without further ado, let's get into it. And just to start off, I want to say, even with an account like mine, I still found myself struggling. As you guys may know, if you watched my previous videos, I have at least 2 characters who are C3, so that's Constellation 3 for anyone who's wondering. And those characters are Cardathea and Amieth, who you are seeing on the screen right now. Well, she's in the team right now. But even with me, I was struggling, and I know that if I really locked in, I could definitely get to like the 58k or 60k plus range if I really tried. But I really wanted to just at least show my potential here with just first time going. You'll see me even try like in the later fights that I restart for some of them if I get like a bad hand. Now if you guys want me, also I'll mention it here, if you want me to post like the full video with every last single battle and as well as my new and improved scores after this video, then feel free to let me know in the comment section down below and I'll post that next. But without further ado, other than that, this mode definitely screams whale centric or whale catered to / exclusive. For those who know, the people who have C6, which is like the highest constellation you can get, so highest dupe, will definitely probably have an easy time with this, unless they have no hands. But even with that, I still think they'll have a pretty easy time if they have C6. But I feel like with some continued changes into the future, it can be an enjoyable experience for a lot of players, if not all players. And to start it off, my first like kind of thought / feedback criticism is, I'll probably show it on screen now. They have it in the game. They have the icon to show it that certain resonators get enhancements, and you'll see them indicated with like a double arrow sign or an arrow sign pointed up on their names, and most of it is just the 1.0 characters. So Changli, Jinxi, Zhe, those types of characters. And for lack of better words, in my opinion, I think those are just half solutions. And like I mentioned earlier, I want the experience to be better for players as a whole, everyone. So I think at this point in time, Wuthering Waves, if they aren't already, they need to start looking into permanent character buffs / kit changes, because I know there's tons of you who are probably looking at characters like Yin Lin who are like, hey, this character could definitely use a new kit animation or kit changes in general to bring her back into the fold and bring her up to date, because these resonator enhancements only work in this endgame mode, and these are characters that could definitely benefit from these buffs outside of this mode and in this mode. And it goes in conjunction with another thing that I have that I'll talk about later, but I definitely think these character buffs and kit changes are needed, similar to, if you guys know, Honkai Star Rail. They have Nova Flare for their characters, and they've been doing them with continuing success and demand. So it's not something that only Wuthering Waves would do. It would be something that would possibly set the standard going forward, that hey, 1.0 characters, standard characters will continue to get buffed, and I'm not asking for them to be tier 0, but if they can at least be brought up to the, I don't know the proper phrasing of this, of ease of use and or like viability as other characters, I think that would be great. And another game that, funny enough, another one that I play, if you watch my Twitter or my other videos, Zenless Zone Zero, they have a potential system that they've worked on. Some of them are just buffs to that potential system, some of them are just buffs to the characters' multipliers, some of them change the character's kit as a whole. And I'm personally in favor of a system like that. Hey, players can work towards that system while playing the game. So if anything, I think I have a picture of one of the characters, Lycon. I'll put his potentials on screen, and it's a relatively simple system. But I think if Wuthering Waves could implement something like this, it would definitely make the experience better for all players. And I'm not saying it needs to be a carbon copy, but at bare minimum, these buffs, these generalistic buffs that Endstate Matrix gives, doesn't hold the characters up as much unless you have like well, I can't even say unless you have an C6, because even some people with C6 that I've been watching, whether they be streamers or just regular YouTubers, even they've been having some issues. So I just wanted to bring that up as like the first topic. The next one that I'm going to talk about is something that I mentioned earlier, where, hey, modifiers. I think the modifiers for Endstate Matrix need to be more generic instead of specific. And a perfect example of this is you'll have an echo skill multiplier, but then it has a specific element attached to it. I don't think that helps anyone. I understand that the game's currently trying to shill for the current on-banner unit, but it doesn't help when, for example, the echo skill multiplier, but then you have, what, only 2 characters who, I think the current one is for Arrow. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up on screen. But that only fits 2 people, Q-Huan and Sigrika. And as much as I like Sigrika and Q-Huan, it would be nice if that buff could have been more impactful for echo skill users as a whole. So like Galbrina, Ferlova, Cantarella. And so there's that one. And then there was another one that was, hey, negative status effects. And it was for Spectral Frazzle. And I'm like, we haven't used Spectral Frazzle since what? When did Zani come out? Was it 2.4, 2.3? If anything, I'll put it up on screen too. But I was just like, why is this specific when we have Fusion Burst with Amieth people would like to try out? Because I know the pseudo team is what, using Chisa to kind of like get it going, but you have Fusion Burst, you have negative status effect with Cardathea, who I believe I'm about to even use right now, because I think she's like my 3rd general team. But I was just like, why is this modifier so specific to a negative status effect? And I've always been advocating, hey, another thing that goes in with the permanent character buff / kit changes, some of those older characters could definitely benefit from adding in the negative status effects for them. Kurogames, you announced it in 2.0, and then a handful of characters at most have it. And even on screen, it's Chisa, who came at the butt end of 2.8, Cardathea and Chiakona, well, Chiakona who came first, and then Cardathea. Then you have Zani and Phoebe and Spectral Rover, who got that buff after 2.0 dropped. So once again, showing that you guys can do it and change kits. It's just you haven't. And then we have what, Amieth with Fusion Burst or Fusion Flare, whatever you want to call it. I forget the proper name. So in conjunction with character buffing and adding maybe these kit changes to include the negative status effects, maybe it will do better to have more generic modifiers that will improve the experience for everyone. And a potential suggestion I also had was, if we're gonna do this, if you guys want to kind of balance it out, we already had something similar to balance this out. A potential suggestion is to bring negative modifiers to boost the score, similar to an old event that a lot of long-time Wuthering Waves players will know, Virtual Crisis. Virtual Crisis was one of the better combat events that had positive and negative buffs, so maybe the game can look into doing something like that for Endstate Matrix. Now I understand season 1 is already going, but maybe they can poll the community for it. Reach out and see what the community wants, and maybe implement it in season 2. But that's just something I wanted to give kurogames, so maybe like a balancing act there. And something I'm just gonna throw on, because I know I've been going for like criticisms, but I do want to say I do enjoy or appreciate the new UI for Endstate Matrix. It's pretty clean. I like it. The record mode, which showing like percentage-based damage, I think is very much appreciated. And hopefully the game can keep track of this information when Endstate Matrix refreshes in the future. And if anything, I'll show on screen right now. Zenless Zone Zero has something similar to this for their Deadly Assault game mode, as well as their, I believe, Shiyu Defense game mode, where it shows you, hey, during this week where reset was happening, or this patch where reset was happening, this is your scores, these are the characters, and they show you, so then you can kind of gauge your progress and how you've been going. Because that's what I kind of want to foster here, is like make this end game mode probably the best it can possibly be, and kind of encourage players to be like, you know what, Kuro's making some changes to make my characters better. I can take some time to like try out to make try again, to maybe try a little bit harder. And then it also goes into another topic I'll talk later, which is my co-op video, but I'll talk about that later. So I just wanted to kind of give that idea out there, because the more positive reinforcement that goes for players, I think players would appreciate if, hey, yeah, this type of information, like, hey, yeah, they're growing their account, they're growing their characters, and they're investing in these characters, and maybe it'll even convince some people to vertically invest, like I have with my Cardathea and my Amieth. Once I know I'll probably be vertically investing, I've been mentioning in my other video, in Hayuki, who looks like Crimson Weave from PGR. I know she's going to be a cool character, and I want to invest in her just because she's that cool. And I know we have that Cyberpunk 2077 collab, or Edge Runners collab, that's coming in the future that they announced like a year ago. And I'm hoping David is in that collaboration, because if he is, he's probably going to be the first person I push to try to get a C6. But I just wanted to mention that now, because keep people hyped. Because that would be a cool thing if, hey, yeah, those characters, when they come for the collab, they're pretty good, and then people invest in them and they take their time to try them out in this game mode. Because that would be a nice thing, especially with if they keep track of the information when Endstate refreshes, people can go back and see, oh wait, I used David for this, or I used Lucy for this, or Rebecca, or whoever. And I just think it would be a cool thing. So if you guys agree with that or not, please let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe Kuro sees this video and they're like, oh, that's a good thing, maybe players would like that, and maybe we'll look into it. And kind of move on from that, it's going into like one of the more touchier situations, and that situation is with the rewards. Now, many people know rewards are a touchy thing for gacha games in general, so I'm gonna try to give at least like a couple of ideas here. And one of them is just the basic idea that the rewards should reflect the difficulty of this mode. As anyone knows, recently we finally got the substat modifier in Wuthering Waves, and I believe that needs to be added here. This is the hardest endgame in Wuthering Waves. It requires you to not only get, what, 24 stars in Tower of Adversity, and then get like 3.6k points on Wiwa, or so I'm just like, that type of thing already has a limited source in the game, and if there's any place to put it, I would think it would be in the hardest end game, where players are encouraged to try their hardest to get these rewards. It would help people, and then in the future people would be like, hey, on the next refresh, you know what, I'm gonna come back to this because I got a reward from it that helped my account, and maybe my account got further on. Maybe I got a substat modifier that made my, let's just say, my Carlotta better, because she's the only Glacio from 2.0. Or maybe it made someone have a 5 out of 5 stat Carlotta. So that would be pretty cool in my eyes. So there's that, and then there's the idea of if they want to increase the Astrite to make it more tempting. And before I even move further from that, if you're going to include more Astrite, do not push it further and further into the point system, because that point system I feel like needs work. But if they're not going to touch Astrite, then you can forget what I just said. And then the other thing is resources, because I noticed they include some echo potions, echo leveling potions, as well as character leveling potions. So maybe increase that, double whatever is there in the reward pool, because once again, it's the hardest game mode. And another thing that also coincides, which will help players reinvest back into their accounts, is on top of having the substat modifier added, the echo boxes in the end state should be targeted boxes so that people can fix up specific characters and or teams on their account. For example, let's just say right now I have on the screen, I have my Spectral Frazzle team, my Zani, my Phoebe, and I have Shorekeeper, because I tried it with Rover and I didn't do too good. But that's on me. But maybe if I had a targeted echo box, because remember, you guys only give, I think, is what, 20 or 30 of those echo boxes? What if 20 or 30 get me 20 or 30 of a specific Spectral Frazzle echo, so that I can work on my Spectral Rover and make them stronger than before? Then I could bring them back into Endstate Matrix and try again. And if it's not for that, what if it's used for a future character? Like, for example, they teased Hayuki and Deanna. I put up a video on that. And what if you want to, like, for example, I mentioned earlier, I want to try for a 5 out of 5 for Hayuki. What if I could use the boxes that I earned from the hardest endgame mode to make my character the best, so then next time when the stuff refreshes, I can come into it with the best possible build. Keeps me playing, and then it also rewards me for actually trying. So I know there's other players out there who also feel the same type of way. If they invest in something, they want to see the return on that investment, or at least see it visually. So that's that idea. And it would also help if the echo boxes are targeted. Now I'm talking to free-to-play players. It'll be best if, hey, yeah, not every free-to-play player has all the time in the world for the best echoes. What if they could, or echo farming, what if they got these targeted boxes and they made their teams better, and they can slowly move? And a perfect example is, I mentioned earlier, Zenless Zone Zero and their Deadly Assault or a Shiyu defense. Most players try to get around 20k points on each tier, and it gives you the maximum rewards at like 60k. What if there's a player here in Wuwa who, hey, I'm trying to get to that max points, the 58k, but I'm at like maybe 54, kind of like how I am, and these targeted boxes give them the echoes that they need and the luck that they need with the substat modifier, and then they go from that 54k to a 59k, because remember, all it takes is a little bit of difference in builds to improve the entire team setup. And that's where I'm going to leave it for that idea. And then for another idea in regards to the rewards / the cycle rewards, and this one is definitely a criticism, is I feel like they need an adjustment. For example, there's a cycle reward or task for doing 11 million echo damage. We know the only character in the game who's going to be doing that, funny enough, she's on screen, Sigrika. But there's no identifier in combat and or on the task menu screen that shows you if you hit it and or how close you are. Because imagine if you're looking at the UI and you see that it says, hey, yeah, you got to 10.5 million echo damage. So you know yourself, okay, my current team is doing good. maybe I need to work on someone's echoes, get them better. Once again, leading from the improved targeted echo boxes rewards that would help a player move a little bit further and accomplish the goals that Kuro has put in front of them. So it's kind of like a thing, because those targeted echo boxes, they may hit, they may not hit, but just the ability to get them, I feel like, is better for everyone. Yeah, because I think at the bare minimum, I just don't want people, or I don't think anyone wants to be shooting in the dark, just wanton changing stuff and hoping that it works. And another thing I disliked about the rewards was that there was a certain reward that was timed. And it's going to expire. And if I'm correct, it's going to expire before the next set of missions to get to 400 points in the cycle rewards, which I don't think makes much sense. I don't think it makes sense for players to invest in a game mode if the rewards will disappear in the future. You can, I think, a suggestion here is you can easily make the reward permanent, similar to Virtual Crisis. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, when you beat Virtual Crisis on a certain stress level or any stress level, you would get a specific, I think it's what, sigil or a title. I'll have to put it up on screen, where it'll show you that, hey, yeah, you beat on stress level 102 or stress level 122 or stress level 32. And that's more specific to you as a player. And I think they could easily do a reward like that, make it permanent, because I think all the rewards should be permanent. If you're going to try for this, it should be a permanent reward. Now, I understand the resources won't be permanent, but like something like that that's more specific like that should be permanent. So, and maybe you can even, kurogames, you can make it say, hey, because the game even tells you this is season 1, so it should be like, hey, yeah, this is the season 1 reward, and you got, let's say, 58k or 60 or 70k points on Endstate Matrix, and that sigil or title should show that. Because how cool would it be as a player, hey, you did something, and your specific score is recognized, and you have it as like a personal accolade in your pocket, and you could always check back to see in the future if you've improved from that point. And part of this goes into one of the ideas that I had. It's a video, my co-op experience idea. I'll put it up on screen right now so you guys can see it. And if you haven't watched that video yet, if anyone hasn't watched it, feel free to go watch it. I'll put a link to it in the description box down below. But there's a banner in one of the rewards that I think could easily be turned into a poster with the previous stated changes that, hey, yeah, maybe it shows season 1 Endstate Matrix, you got 50 points, and people can design an end game room for their rovers so their friends can come and see, or other players can come and see, and they put it up on the wall that, hey, yeah, season 1 I got this point, season 2 I doubled my points and I got to 100k or something like that. So I just wanted to kind of give that idea out, because tying together rewards with a better, not only tying those better rewards, but also tying it together with a better co-op experience that includes showing off your accolades, I think would encourage a lot of players of their own volition to try harder and try more frequently. And it would also help to validate kurogames' work in this mode and make it the best it can be. Because if I know anything from co-op players, if anyone's ever played an MMO, you know, hey, yeah, if you can build a house in an MMO or build a custom room to show off, or on your profile to show off your accolades, it's a thing that a lot of players like. And I don't think gacha game players would be adverse to having that as well, just to show off, because the co-op experience has been in Wuthering Waves since the beginning, but there hasn't been something to utilize it for. And I know outside of events, there hasn't been something to continuously get it used. So I'm thinking this could be that. Adding in my co-op experience ideas, as well as the improved ideas for Endstate Matrix, would just go hand in hand with each other and just make the experience better for all players. And even to say it, funny enough, I have it on screen now, I tried to end off my run of Endstate Matrix with one of the original teams. Unfortunately, I used Verena earlier, so I couldn't use her any further. So I just went with the typical Gian Mortefi team, and I'm trying. And even this game mode got me to invest in Bu Ling to try her out for it. Now, I did not clear this boss, but I definitely did do a good amount of damage, which I personally appreciate, because I like seeing that Gian can still put in some hard work. That's all I'm gonna say for that. But yeah, I think that's about it, because I overall don't want to bug you guys too much. I'm just hoping that this idea goes into the world, and the community can give their own thoughts and ideas to make the game mode the best it can be, and the game the best it can be. Because I've always said it, even in my first videos covering Wuthering Waves, that I think Wuthering Waves would be a great game even if it wasn't a gacha game. And since it is a gacha game, I want to make it the best it can possibly be. I think the community would also want the game to be the best it could possibly be. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Hopefully you guys understand my viewpoints and maybe have some ideas of your own that you can share. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below, or feel free to tag me on Twitter or /X, whatever you want to call it, at GenesisNexus. I'm trying to post there more often, so hopefully you guys, if you want to have a conversation, feel free. And once again, my hope is that kurogames will see this and make Endstate Matrix better in the best possible endgame mode that we can have, at least for now. And also, I'm going to ask for you guys to bring back Virtual Crisis. I think we all enjoyed that event. All I know is, after this video, I'm probably going to be giving it one more shot to go for all the rewards and to prepare for Hayuki and Deanna. I want Hayuki to literally be the first character I try to get perfect 5 out of 5 echoes for, as well as getting to C3. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for future content. It'll be very much appreciated, as my new goal is now 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Hopefully we can all grow as a great community here and covering Wuthering Waves and tons of other games. I wish you guys all a good week, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Later.